Let's talk about, okay, so basically what we want to do, I don't have a name for this yet, but, I was just watching TV recently, and, Pardon the Interruption on ESPN was on, and they're talking about a lot of stuff, and I saw a lot of people talking about Punk on Twitter as well, like what's wrong with him in the chat and everything like that, and then some people started calling him out, and he said, like, I don't want to play in CPT events anymore because I keep losing to things that aren't the game, that aren't players, and all this stuff like that, and I saw all these people talking about what happened to Punk, right? And so, that combined with just seeing the PTI stuff, like, I feel like I want to do stuff like that.
Let's argue.
It's not even just necessarily argue, but let's talk about, like, little things that are happening in the fighting game community where we can kind of express opinions and stuff like that. So maybe not even popular opinions and everything.
Yeah, let's get weird.
So fighting topics, but, I don't know, we'll call it, like, something soon.
We'll come up with a name.
We'll have the chat try to come up with stuff, but let's talk about Punk.
We're known for coming up with names here on the Tuesday show.
Exactly, right?
It's like 6 years later.
But let's talk about this. What's wrong with Punk? What's happening to Punk? Like, what?
Punk, who just made top 8 at a big major.
Right, but the thing about it is he used to always be that one guy who everybody was talking about. He got second place at EVO, and he was the favorite to win that tournament everything like that.
Favorite to win EVO and Capcom Cup.
And Capcom Cup, and he did not do either. He did not even make top 8 at Capcom Cup. And since then, it feels like he's been struggling, right? So here at this tournament, he talked about, the concept of, the machine lagging on him, the buttons lagging on him because the machines, they had 24-hour venues, so he's feel like the PS4s aren't getting the rest and everything like that.
Yeah, which is a real phenomenon, by the way.
But do you feel like these are just excuses now? Like, do you feel Punk...
that's real.
Do you feel like Punk has... Okay, well, but so what is the deal with Punk now? Why do you feel like he's not the same threat that he was before?
To me, the bigger issue is that other people have started to do what Punk was so good at doing. He was ridiculous at whiff punishing and setting up situations where he knew that if the opponent pressed a button, that he had the exact one already lined up. He had all of these little sequences that put him at an exact spot. That's not like a brand new idea or anything, but he was doing that in a way that I thought was better than everybody else. So his whiff punishing game was better in part because of that. The second thing is that everybody, well, more people in any case, are hit confirming single hits now.
Right.
They're playing a more reactive game. I think people came into Street Fighter 4 wanting to play a proactive style of footsies, which is kind of what prevailed in Street Fighter 4.
Right.
But that, I think in Season 2, when Punk was doing so well, I think he was one of the first players to realize that that's not as effective, and that he played a more reactive whiff punishing heavy game.
Right.
His whiff punishes were the best. Now I feel like a lot of the top players are doing that as well.
So, I mean, some people are saying that everybody else caught up.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting to. I feel like the biggest thing is that other people figured out what he was doing and they X-copied it, basically. And that now that Punk is sort of among a sea of people who are doing these very strong things, he doesn't have the same dominance. So, yeah, I think it's much more that everybody else caught up than that Punk fell down. But since everybody else has caught up, I feel like there is a tendency on Punk's side to feel less confident now. So that the fact that it wasn't his fault, it was everybody else catching up, now is kind of causing a thing in him where in his brain where he's... Look, was he like 19? Like he basically started coming to offline events in like 2016. You know what I mean? Like he had been an online player for a while, but he basically came to offline events, and then a year later he was the best in the world. Right. That kind of rise is ridiculous and meteoric, and I feel like the fall from being the best in the world to just being one of the best is probably pretty tough. It's probably pretty mentally tough. Yeah. You know? That happened to me when I got second place at a spelling bee. I don't have anything. But I imagine it's tough. So that's my theory.
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like as part of it might also just be that Punk spared himself. I mean, some people have mentioned it in chat already. I feel like Punk spread himself a little thin. He started concentrating on Marvel. Remember, he did that first 100 with Yipes and stuff, and he's been actually winning tournaments in Marvel. But then also, you know, he's been practicing Dragon Ball Fighters a lot. He isn't focusing on one game. Like someone like Tokido, he hasn't fall into the allure of anything. He's still just, I'm just Street Fighter. And this is like multi-game master Tokido, right? Not only that, but I also think it hurt him that Punk moved to Cammy just a little bit. Like, he kind of shifted to another character.
I mean, his character got nerfed a little bit.
Right.
He thought Cammy got buffed, so I understand why.
Yeah. So he tried with going to Cammy, but I just don't think it worked out for him as well. So I don't think the Cammy change helped him. So I felt like he kind of jumped around a little bit as well. So, you know, I think...
he's not putting 100% of the brain power into one thing, is what you're saying.
Exactly. So if he kind of went back and focused on Street Fighter only, I think he would work out well. And yeah, I mean, I guess we're not arguing here. We're kind of agreeing.
I don't think that's probably how this is going to go, to be
honest.
But
exactly.
I do think that it's very difficult to play many games at a top level. There are really just a few people who can do that. And even if you look at people who are talking about Sonic Fox right now, well, Sonic Fox got 3rd place in Injustice at Combo Breaker.
That's right.
He didn't win Skullgirls. Right? He got 2nd place in MK9. That's a terrible weekend for Sonic Fox.
Right. Remember when Sonic Fox was trying to learn Marvel super badly, he didn't win...
he didn't win E-League.
Yeah, he didn't win E-League, so there you
go. So even... those games, right? It's not just Street Fighter, which is the most competitive game in the world for sure when it comes to fighting games, but other games too. Even somebody as talented as Sonic Fox, I feel like there's a limit to how many games you can play. Maybe you can play a couple. Think about Goichi, right? He's the best Dragon Ball. He and Sonic Fox are the best Dragon Ball players in the world, but he hasn't had those Street Fighter results that he did in the past.
Right.
You know, it's hats off to Dogra for making top 8 at CB in both Street Fighter and Dragon Ball. That's super, super tough. So maybe there is something in the idea of he needs to quit spreading himself. So then,
okay. Some other people I saw were talking about this, and Javits was one who tweeted this out. He was like, "I noticed when players get picked up by sponsors, they stop doing as well, right?" And DeKillSage joked was like, "At me," you know, and like Javits was like, "No, I'm not talking about you," but DeKillSage is like, "I just do that all the time," right? But, but you know, do you feel like that's kind of a thing for Punk right now? Because there's two sides of this, right? There's people who believe that when you get sponsored, you're like, I have the money now, so I get lazy. But then there's the other side that, hey, it's pressure time.
Yeah,
I think pressure time, right?
I think that is more likely among the two, but I don't really think either one carries much weight.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think? Okay, because, I mean, I think there's a lot to it. You see this happen in professional sports all the time when the guy plays super hard because their contract kind of sucks.
That's what they say.
And then they get signed by this great team, and then all of a sudden their stats drop and they seem kind of comfortable. You don't think that this is a thing?
Like a little bit, maybe. I just don't think it doesn't seem likely to me that it's like a major driving factor for anything. Maybe like a marginal thing, but...
I mean...
this is not just me disagreeing to disagree. I just don't... Like when people, I feel like people want to sort of put additional factors into things a lot of the time. Like the world is very complex, so I get you want to find multiple reasons why things happen. But when it comes to something like this, I feel it's very contrived. It's like saying this player is better than the other because they want it more. Everybody wants it. If you've made it to a high level, everybody wants it.
But money has a tendency to lazyify people sometimes, right? Like, if you're a player who's like, all of a sudden you're getting Echo Fox money.
Yeah,
like,
which is a lot of money.
Right, which the drive maybe to try to perform as strongly as before.
But they weren't performing for money. Right? Like, it wasn't about money.
You don't think you are, but when you get it, all of a sudden...
they weren't, for sure.
All of a sudden you get it, and then things kind of change a little bit, right?
I just don't think they changed
I don't think it's... Obviously, it depends on the person. For someone like Tokido, obviously, it hasn't affected him at all getting Echo Fox money. I feel like one of the times... We don't remember when Justin got mad at us at Capcom Cup for talking about his record.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder if that was just because it was like sounding bad to his sponsors or something like that. You know, he was worried about that kind of a thing. You know, like, I feel like that there is an effect to that. And then also, you know, the pressure as well. I've heard players even talk about it when they get sponsored. They do feel that pressure all of a sudden to perform well for their sponsors.
Sure.
That is something I've definitely heard.
Yeah, I think there's more behind that one than that they get lazy idea. I just don't think that either one is like a driving reason. It's like reason number 8 or whatever, rather than anything in the top 5.
Really? Okay. Because I actually think that there's, I mean, like I said, I've heard players literally say that they put extra pressure on themselves. And then I really do think that there's the opportunity that, you can get. Because, I mean, I've seen players get sponsored and maybe get a little content, or something, especially if you're making decent money. But there's obviously those that defy that, but I'm not saying that Punk is getting content with it, or like he's sitting there going like, haha, because I mean he cried at Evo. He obviously wants to win it. He's very upset that he didn't do well at Dreamhack and everything. So I know he wants it and stuff like that, but there is this certain level of accidental comfort that you gain that comes with.
I just don't think that they were doing it for comfort at all. Like the driving factor was not comfort. It wasn't one of the top 5 for sure. Like it wasn't to win a lot of money.
Okay.
You don't get into fighting games if your idea is to win a lot of money. One person is going to win 100K at something. That's just not. It's not like the reason that you're playing. You have to put in 5 years of experience before that is even a thing. Okay. So I just.
Okay. All right.
It's true. Do drugs, hail Satan. It's true.
What's that?
Yeah. I don't think it'd be good.
No. Still disagree, but.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, well, I mean, I wanted to talk about Justin using Manat, but let's talk about the other topic that I kind of want to talk about first, because it kind of has to do with Punk now that I think about it.
Okay.
Him going to Cammy and then it not succeeding, now him going back to Karen, right? So one of the things that I really want to talk about is Cammy as strong and brain dead as everybody says she is, right? Because Punk, when he said that he wanted to switch away from Cammy to Karen, I messaged him and I was like, I think that's the right choice. I think Karen is the better choice for you. And then he was like, yeah, Cammy's too brain dead. I can't turn off my brain enough to play her effectively.
I've heard that, yeah.
And stuff like that. But then when I talked to him in person, I was like, I really do think that the change is better for you. And his response, not on social media, was, yeah, actually aiming the dive kicks was way harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be easy, and I just don't want to take the time to learn that kind of stuff. Then on the ride to the Combo Breaker venue, I was talking to GamerB in the car, and I was asking him how's the Cammy's changes going along, and he's like, man, Cammy's really hard to use. Like, she's just not as easy as people say, that she takes a lot of effort and takes a lot of work. She's really not straightforward, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And then even after Combo Breaker was over, he tweeted out, he was like, Cammy is just a lot harder than, than people think she is to use, et cetera, like that. So what do you think?
What would you rate people's perceptions of her out of 10 in terms of difficulty? 10 being the most difficult.
Oh, like just general public perception?
When you say less easy than people think that she is, what do you mean? Like how? Like is she perceived as how hard out of 10?
Yeah, autopilot-y, very easy, probably 1 or 2 out of 10.
You mean 9 or 10 out of 10?
In terms
most
of
difficult.
No, to use, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I think people perceive her as a 1 or a 2, as you pick Cammy, you win.
Okay, and then what do you think? What do you think the reality is?
The reality with Cammy, I think, is probably around like 5 or 6 or 7. Maybe 6 or 7, or actually 5 or 6. 5 or 6. Yeah.
So the difference in perception between the difference between the perception and the reality is going to be significant for sure, because for sure she's not 1 out of 10. No character in Street Fighter 5 is 1 out of 10.
But that's what everybody says, and so they feel like, it's time. Like,
I mean, obviously it's nonsense.
Like they see NuckleDo play, and they're like, oh, look who's winning, and like everyone's switching to Cammy now. Yeah. Now this is all free wins for everybody.
I mean, of course it's not. It's absurd. So it's she's not a 1. Nobody's a 2 either. Nobody is super simple to play. Is she more difficult than average? For sure not.
Okay.
Right? I mean, like is whatever the average difficulty is, which includes how strong a character is tier-wise, for sure she's not.
Right, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you're talking about between like maybe 3 and 5, right? Is she 5 being your just average difficulty to play, nobody's a 1, probably nobody's a 2. She's 3 to 5, right? It's not like the difference is between 1 and in reality is 10. Obviously, like nobody's 10 either.
Right, yeah.
Maybe Alex is 8, Fang is 8, right? Something like that. for sure Cammy's not in the same conversation when it comes to that. So she might be a 4. I think that makes sense. I mean, of course, it's not easy to aim the dive kicks. Everything else about her is quite obvious, but the aiming of the dive kicks is difficult. That said, every character has a thing that's like that.
Right.
Like every character has a thing that's hard.
Right, and that's the thing is,
or 10 things that are hard.
I wouldn't rate anyone higher than Cammy. Like even if I put her at a 5 or a 6, I wouldn't rate any. I think every character is kind of hard to use. Like my average would be 7. I don't consider 5 the 7. You know what I mean? Like,
well, okay, I guess.
I mean, it's like grades, right? It's like grades. C is an average, and C is always 70. It's not 50, right? C is the curve.
Depends on what the curve is.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I would grade on a curve essentially. You know, I just don't think Cammy is as straightforward.
Okay,
as
so fine. You lop off the bottom 3 entirely. So now you have 4 to 10, and she's a 5.
Maybe 5 or 6, yeah. I don't think she's as straightforward as people think that she is.
Well, what you're saying is that she's among the easiest characters to use in the game.
Oh, relative. I don't think
makes sense to me.
I don't think playing her equals free wins, though.
Of course not. I mean, no fighting game character ever is like that. You know, you pick Ivan Ooze and it's not 1 out of 10, it's 2 out of 10 because you got to know what the moves are, right? Like there's nobody who's free.
Right.
But beyond that, she's among the easiest characters to use in the game. But there is a point of difficulty. Aiming the dive kicks is not that easy.
I mean, it's not.
You have to be able to react well. Like there are things that are required of the character, but those things are required of most characters, and every other character has a thing that's like the hard stuff too.
Right, but I mean, even with just besides aiming dive kicks, it's like opening up opponents, right? Like everyone thinks it's very straightforward, that it's like just throw them a bunch of times, and just stuff like that, and then you try it and you find out like it's just not even remotely that simple with her, right? There's a lot more to it than that. So, I mean, I do think Cammy is the best character in the game. I still think she's the strongest character in the game. But I don't think that she is free wins. Like when I sit there and listen to GamerBee talk about how he's like, man, she's really hard to use, and you know, Punk's like, I didn't think she would be as difficult to aim with dive kicks as before, and you know, he tried her against Toy, and even Kazunoko's like, oh well, Bison beats Cammy, right? You know. A lot of people, including myself, don't think that Cammy really loses any matchup. Maybe to the point of like that dreaded 5.5, 4.5 scale, you know, that might be the worst that she has.
Okay.
But even at Combo Breaker, Cammy lost to every Karen that was on stream, right? And then there was seriously like 5 times that Cammy lost to Karen on stream. And then, you know, and then like I said, with Punk, you know, he tried to switch to Cammy and it just didn't work at all against Toy. It basically did nothing. So, you know, I know right now it's the funny joke and everybody likes to meme about it and talk about how Cammy is free and easy. And then what I think that's kind of sad is because it kind of discredits people like NL and how much work. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that NL and Verloren are the ones that are succeeding with her because they're the ones that have been playing her the whole time.
For sure, dude.
You know?
No, it's not easy to switch around, and no character is brain dead, but she is among the easiest characters in the game.
I don't even know if Falca beats up Cammy yet. I think that's just more people don't know anything about Falca yet. Because, I mean, even when, who was it? It was, Oil King picked... It was against Alex, actually. He picked Falca against Alex, and he beat Alex 2 games. And
against
then
Myers.
Alex came, against Myers. And then Myers came back and won 2, and then he had to switch to Rashid to finally beat him. So I don't even think that that's true. I don't even think Falca beats Cammy, to be honest with you. Like I said, I don't think she has any terrible matchups. The worst that she might have is Karen. You know what I mean? But outside of that, I think everything's 5-5 or better for her. So like I said, I don't know if that necessarily means that she's easy to use. I just think that they just made her too strong. Like she just has every tool, right?
But like to master Cammy is not the same as like to master Menat, right? It's like obviously a different story. I mean, clearly.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So she's among the best characters in the game, and even among the best characters in the game, probably the easiest.
Okay.
So, right?
Maybe.
I mean, think about it. Like Menat's up there. Akuma's hard to play. Only like 2 dudes have done really well there.
Guile.
Yeah, Guile. Right. Yeah. So. All right. Well, I agree.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of Manat, you're talking about.
Yeah.
I remember I was talking about Justin on Twitter about how I love the pairing of the characters, right? And so I actually think that actually, to be honest with you, Tubo, I'm reading chat at the same time, so like I'm having a hard time trying to concentrate on two topics at the same time. Yeah. So, but Justin did really well with Manat, and I started arguing with people. Well, not arguing. I said on Twitter, I was like, "What's beautiful about the way that Justin uses Manat? Like he's no Sako on V Trigger. In fact, at Combo Breaker, I called him pedestrian at best with the V Trigger, right? And but he's still winning, and to beat Oil King, that's not like an easy thing to do.
Not at all.
And so he was able to beat Oil King. And so my comment was like, you don't have like. One of the things that bothers me about players right now is how much they feel like they have to optimize everything, even from a beginner standpoint. And it's a dangerous mindset. Yeah. I saw someone talking about ST, and they're like, how do I do reuse towards Heavy Punch, Fierce, and the Super? Yeah. And my response was, you don't. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Yeah.
Right? Like, you never need that. Right? Like, who cares? And they're like, but what about that one time? I was like, who cares? Right? And that's the problem. It's like now everybody, when they want to play Manat, they're like, I got to learn Sako Manat. Right. Like when I play Manat, I'm like, I don't care about doing Sako Manat. I'm just going to do what I can do. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what Justin is doing, right? And so I feel like for Justin, it's a perfect match for him. I feel like the character is a perfect match, even though he doesn't optimize it. Yeah. And so I think that people need to learn to not have, like, I think that's kind of important. But then Sanford started talking to me. It was like, no, like you have to optimize everything, and, and you have to make sure you know how to use your character fully and all this stuff like that. And, you have to make sure that you have all the max damage combos and learn all the setups that Javits are teaching you and things like that. And I was like, I don't think you do, because I don't even think Infiltration uses Manat as well as Justin does in the ground footsie range.
He doesn't even get engaged in that very often.
And so I feel like Infiltration isn't even 100% optimized on Manat, and he's winning tournaments with the character, So, but I mean, again, it sounds like you're kind of agreeing with me.
Well,
in this situation.
I do agree for Justin, because Justin is one of the all-time talented players. I definitely agree when it comes to beginners. Just play. Like that's until you're like 2 years into playing, like you just play. Just do stuff. And when a game comes out, don't be afraid to just learn like 2 combos and then just go online and play. Like it's more important to have that experience.
Right.
But when you're at the highest level of play, I think if you are anybody but Justin, Infiltration, like players who are like among the all-time greatest, then I think you should have the mindset of you need to optimize everything, because you probably do to beat players who are that strong.
Right.
Like the players who Justin beat, they're all trying to optimize things. Like I've talked with Myers, he went to Japan. He's like really trying to optimize every single little thing.
Right.
And he's still not winning big majors in the way that Justin was with his like 2/3 Manat. So it's that's it's like kind of a tough pill to swallow if you're not one of those top greatest ever players. But it's I think the reality that you probably do have to make sure that everything is as optimized as possible, because you probably don't have like the innate talent that some of those other guys have.
And someone even argued to me that one of the reasons why you don't have to do that with Manat is, one, Manat can be played with different styles, which is cool, right? But two, they were basically saying, well, it's also because Manat is busted.
I mean, she's really good, of course.
Yeah, I know, but like, again, going into that Cammy topic, and it sucks because I play both of these characters, so it sounds like I'm doing the downplaying thing. But like, I actually don't even think Manat is even busted. You know what I mean?
I don't think she's busted.
I don't think she's like
just strong.
Like, because someone was trying to imply that she's free wins as well, because you can't hit her weapon, and stuff like that, and it's just like, come on.
Like nobody's played against Dhalsim forever. You can counterpoke Dhalsim's limbs, but the main way to get in is to jump when he does some laggy button on the ground. That's been anti-Dhalsim tech since 1991.
Right, dude.
Forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Dhalsim's never been broke. Well, maybe not.
He's been broken in most of his games.
Let me revert that. But
Dhalsim user.
Dhalsim can
Why are you downplaying your character, man? No.
Dhalsim can definitely be designed in a way, and the last few Street Fighters have shown it, where he's not like so good.
Right.
So that's where I feel Manat is. Manat is the best Dhalsim in the game, but you use anti-Dhalsim tech, and that's there it is. Like she's obviously really strong, but not broken.
Right. But then there's always the case that some characters, you have to optimize them, like Ryu, like Alex. Like, you have to 100% off them because but then I was saying, like, that's kind of different because that's just a tiering thing. Like, I don't think that that's kind of related because I think if you played Ryu at 110%, you wouldn't be winning tournaments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there are some characters where it just takes like Kuroda level genius to make them look viable,
right. Yeah, exactly.
Which is really, really rare. Yeah, man. I think that I do think that most top level players have to have the mindset of optimize everything possible.
Right.
But I do think that there are some of those just like all-time players who can get by doing whatever 3/4 of the character is.
Right.
I mean, think about how well Justin would be doing if he did his style now, but he also had a credible V-trigger.
Right.
Like he basically doesn't use the character's V-trigger. He uses a little bit of it only.
He knows the combo if he hits you. He has the standard setup for the high-low mix-up, right? But then outside of that, whenever it doesn't work, you can tell he just tosses them so that he doesn't have to worry about them, right?
Yep.
So,
Wants to build back another one, I mean, think about how strong he would be. So even in Justin's case, he could be doing better. So it would be better if he optimized it. He just doesn't need to in the way that everybody else does. Right.
And then even something like Infiltration, if he tried to optimize what Justin's doing with the footsies and the buttons, I think that would actually hurt Infiltration.
It's not his style.
It's not what he wants to do.
That's never been he's never been the mid-range footsies player in any game he's played. He's never been that.
Right.
He's been everything else.
Right. And, someone just asked in the chat, why is Infiltration's jury good? And it's the same reason, because
movement, dude.
Infiltration has always been about movement, and that's why his Nash was so good in Season 1.
I mean, that's why his Akuma was great in SF4. Like, that was it. Is such good movement.
And I feel like if he tried to play Justin's style, if he tried to optimize that would actually hurt him.
Wouldn't work.
So I don't feel like he's even using Manat in 100% optimized. He's using it in 100% optimized for Infiltration.
I mean, maybe he could use some more footsies, but like, it's nice to have if the circumstance requires. He just doesn't often require it.
And Decapre, right? Dude, that was like all he was like, where are you on the screen? Yeah, exactly. So
Justin with Season 2 Manat. It's basically what he's playing. Because he so rarely throws out the orb, so he so rarely gets the explosion. It's just Season 2 Manat. And I was thinking that V-Trigger 2 was designed for him, his style of Manat.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
But like, it still probably would be worse than V-Trigger 1.
Javits does some ridiculous stuff with that V-Trigger 2, and it's just like good combo kind of sequences.
Yeah, there's uses in it for sure.
But then also another thing too is that, Justin even said, he said Manat's biggest buff in Season 3 was not the Soul Spark explosion. It was that everybody lost throw loops, so they couldn't maul her anymore.
Yep, sure.
That's what he said on Twitter, and there is a lot to say about that as well. So now he can actually be the I get tossed, but now I can use my solid defense that Justin has always had to get out of that situation. So
same reason that Dalsum isn't low tier now. He's probably mid tier. Like, he doesn't have to deal with throw loops quite as often.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, there you go. Hey!
Well, what's cool about that is, usually we're just talking about news, we're just talking about things like that. I think it's kind of cool to get into those little segments
I think
like
this
that.
Is fun.
So if people on chat actually have suggestions for the segment name, tweet us at jchensor, at ultradavid, at ultrachenTV.
Yeah.
And let us know what you guys think about that. I kind of want to do this more often.
I think it's great.
And just even to talk about players. I know it's going to be weird because I think some players are going to not like us talking about them and stuff like that, but it's what we kind of do. So
I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Wow, it'd be hilarious if there were health bars on screen while this was happening. Go down. Oh my god. We would need somebody else to run the stream for that. That'd be hilarious, thoa
Did we really get to 1.3 viewers? We did. Dang. Okay, look at this.
I guess the segment worked out. Hey, also send us topics if you want us to talk about anything particular.
Send us anything like that. Again, at ultrachenTV is probably the best place to send it, although we don't check it nearly enough. But
I look at it. I got it up on the old
tweet there. Make sure
to
tag it to at jchensor and at ultradavid as well. So there you go.
Dude, if Ninja hosted the stream, 1,000 viewers, that's a rounding error for what that guy gets. Like, it's not even relevant.
I know, right?
He would not even notice if 1,000 people dropped off. That probably happens all the time. He's probably streaming to hundreds of thousands of people, and it goes down by 1,000, and he just doesn't
because at any
even
given
notice.
second, 1,000 people would probably be like, I need to go do something, and then it drops 1,000, but then another 1,000 people are like, let me check what Ninja's doing. Yeah.
All right.
Dude, what ice cream flavor is best? Oh, man. Dude, they're trying to throw all sorts of toppings. They're going to do that whole milk before cereal or cereal before milk kind of thing. They're going to throw those topics at us. You really don't care?
About the milk versus cereal?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any impact on the taste. Who cares? Right? It doesn't.
Okay.
I don't have any preconceived notions about how my cereal escapades need to go. I just want.
What about microwaving milk for your cereal to
I don't
make
want
it warmer?
Hot milk. That changes the taste.
Yeah, he microwaves his cereal.
I've heard about the stories.
I mean, look,
that seems a little too much for me.
I'll be honest. I've done it before. I've microwaved milk and then ate cereal with that. But that was like when I had a cold or something like that, and I just my mom insisted that it was better for the cold. Sure. Kind of thing, so
it is true though. I eat apple cores, so I feel like I'm willing to do more stuff than some other folks. Anyway, what else we got going on?
Okay, well, before we get onto the next topic, which is BBTAG and all that stuff like that, let's go and do the rest of the results from the weekend, and then we'll take a break and we'll come back with some BBTAG and SF30 stuff here. This weekend was also the Rage Esports Street Fighter V All-Star League. This was the event that was going on in Japan with the crazy colored teams names and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like a very high production and kind of zany esports take on things. Yeah. Did you see the intro trailer?
No. Oh, with Tokido and like the crazy editing and all that.
Yeah, the crazy editing.
Like crushing the apple or whatever it was.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah. No, it was really cool. I tried watching it last night. I forgot it was coming on, and it came on, and I was like, oh, cool. And I put it on while I was lying in bed, and I just like passed out immediately. Okay. So I actually didn't get a chance to see most of it. But remember, there's 6 team captains, right, which is Daigo, Moke, Itazan, Nemo, Tokido, and Fujimura.
Right.
And they were all going to recruit 2 players onto their team. Now, I thought it was going to be only the people that were licensed, but I know I saw Momochi on there at one point in time. So apparently they have
a good point.
Some way to get around that, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's only on OpenRec TV. It's only on OpenRec TV. And they're going to do a round robin thing, I think it is. I'm not sure how the scoring works exactly, but...
Well, it's the team record, so if the team wins it, it's 1-0, and they keep track of the overall game tallies in case of differential.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
In case of ties.
As we mentioned, the team captains I mentioned were Daigo with the gold team, Moke with the sunrise team, Itazan with the ocean team, Nemo with the aurora team, Tokido with the flame team, and Fujimura with the emerald team.
I wonder if, like, when these actual team names are in Japanese, instead of flame, is it red? And like in Japanese, is red just like translated weirdly so that it becomes flame? Or did they really just pick flame?
I think they really just...
They just picked flame.
I think they did, yeah.
Hey.
But they're going to round robin, and so basically the first match was Team Sunrise, which is Moke, versus Team Flame, Tokido. And Dogura, let's see, they had 3 sets here altogether. Dogura beat Mago, and then Fudo... Should I read all these results, or should I just talk about the records?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the day 1, basically, here, we'll just do this here. So between Moke and Tokido, basically Team Moke wins 3 sets to 0, so they get 8 points to 1 point for Tokido's team, basically. And then they had Team Emerald, Fujimura, versus Team Daigold, and that's what somebody in the chat said. I thought that was actually good. But it was basically 3-1. So Team Daigo wins 3 sets to 1, so they get 9 points.
Woo!
And the other team got 3 points. And then there was Team Aurora versus Team Ocean.
That is Team Ocean is Itazan, and Aurora is Storm Kubo.
Okay, there you go. And that ended up going all the way 5 sets, with Itazan winning 3 sets to 2 sets. So they got 9 points and 6 points to the other team. And so I'm not sure how this works exactly.
Yeah, no. Well, Daigo's team is currently in the lead because they're tied 1-0 with Moke's and Itazan's.
Right, but they have 8 points.
Yeah, they're +8 instead of +7.
Okay, so +8, +7, and +3. So
yeah, that's just game differential.
Okay. And then on the second half, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And then Aurora, then Flame, then Emerald. So Nemo, Tokido, then Fujimura with -3, -7, and -8 in point differential.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eye on this.
0-1 records. But there's going to be a lot more matches. On the 13th, Wednesday, they're going to do some more matches. Thursday, and then on the 14th, they're going to do more. And then 6/18 on Monday, 6/19 on Tuesday. They've got a whole bunch of these going down, so there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on
Open
over
rec.
there. Yeah. But let me take a look at something really quick. Which team was Momochi on? Momochi was on, looks like
Emerald.
Emerald's team. There you go. So he's on the Fujimura team.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Let's get out of here.
All right. Also this weekend was E-League.
Oh, yeah.
So the first episode of the E-League Invitational group happened, and interesting way they had it set up. Basically, they have a double elimination bracket.
Yeah.
But you skip rounds based on how you placed in the round robin.
Right.
So like basically the higher you place in the round robin, you play less rounds of the double elimination bracket, which is really kind of interesting. So I almost kind of think it was set up like they just put the players there, and like if there's these guys in losers bracket, if you lose in losers bracket, you got to beat them one by one as they go, but they don't end up in the same place in losers bracket as you do. Right, and so Group A played out. Group A, of course, Luffy was in first place up there. Tokido was in second place. And then there was Dogura, PR Balrog, Mena, RD, and JB. If I'm not mistaken, JB was in third place. And Dogura was like at the bottom. He was like at the very end. He was at the very end. But it played out. In group play, yeah.
Yeah, but it's right there.
It played out.
PR was the bottom.
Okay, PR was in sixth place, yeah. And then Dogura, well, yes.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. And then Dogura was in fifth place after the group results. But after they all played it out, Dogura apparently just went on a tear in losers bracket. He went on a tear, and the result happened here. Sixth place was actually PR Balrog with Akuma. He just lost the first game, essentially, to Dogura. And then fifth place was Rise Mena RD. How surprised are you by that one?
Surprised. Maybe not super surprised. More surprised that he got fifth out of six, I think I would say. But I felt like there were 4 players who had a great chance of getting out of this. He was one of them. So.
Okay. And then fourth place was Sonic Box JB. Of course, he was third place in the group one, so he fell down one position. Most of these people just kind of fell down one position because of Dogura. Third place, Aries RB Luffy.
Yeah, horrible.
With Armika. And like, considering the fact that he went undefeated in the group, he was 5-0.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's kind of like unfair that this happened to him?
Dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about unfair, but it's really unfortunate. You know, it's not just supposed to be a tournament, obviously. There's a show aspect to it. So I like that the round robin exists because then you get to see everybody. That's really cool. And then I like that there's a tournament because then it's like the
actual environment that we play. Yeah.
So I like that there's both. It's just that the way that interacts, I don't know that you can make that in a way that where you avoid a situation like Luffy dominating the groups in the round robin
all
stage.
All he had to do was win one match. Right? Because he either had to beat Tokido or he had to beat Dogura. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
But he lost to Tokido and then he lost to Dogura. So he went 0-2 and was eliminated.
He went basically 5-2 on the day.
Yeah, basically. And so second place, as I mentioned, was Dogura and first place was Tokido. So Tokido and Dogura make it out to the playoffs then. So they make it to the finals, and that means the 2 Japanese players in that bracket survive, and all the rest of them who were not Japanese players do not.
I mean, Luffy was blowing people up in that round robin. And then even when he ended up losing to Dogura, he dropped, I forget what combo it was, but it was like something that he does every day, and it didn't work out for him. And then he ended up losing. So he had a chance to even win it. So, still kind of sucks.
Right.
It is definitely a bummer. But there you go.
Okay, well, that was the first round. So Group B will be taking place this Friday, basically. And that one is going to be Punk, Fudo, Momochi, Phenom, 801 Strider, and Commander Jesse.
James, who do you have getting out of that?
Yeah, I was about to ask you the same question, but you beat me to it, man. The life bars are just going to go I just lost life right now. So, Punk, Fudo, Momochi, Phenom, 801 Strider, Commander Jesse. Okay, I'm going to vote one with my brain and one with my heart. Okay. How's that? Okay.
I guess.
My brain, I'm going to vote for Fudo.
Sure.
I'm going to just take Fudo because he's just really, really good.
Sure.
My heart, and again, like I don't know if he can do it, but like I'm gonna go Commander Jesse. Yeah, I'm gonna go Commander Jesse as the surprise upset, making it out of the bracket.
I like Fudo and Phenom.
Fudo and Phenom. Okay, so you're just doing brain and brain, basically, then, right?
That's what my heart says too. My heart.
Okay. I mean,
I feel good about those picks.
If I did brain and brain, I might do Fudo Momochi just because that'll be the Japanese players again, and Japan has just been dominating everything. But I really, really would love to see Commander Jesse do some damage.
Of course, it'd be great.
So yeah.
All right.
All right.
What else happened?
Also, this weekend was the CPT Online Asia. It was basically the online event Asia Southeast 1 results.
Yeah.
And so this was, of course, continuing the CPT Online events. 7th place was Razor Sien with a Buki, so he got 1 point.
Mm-hmm. High five. It may end up mattering in the end. We'll see. It may, actually.
7th place was also BK9999 with Balrog, also 1 point. 5th place, Alex Nation Kogumer Lim with Alex, 10 points, and Leslie with Rashid, 10 points. Of course, Leslie, strong Sagat player in Street Fighter 4 from Singapore. 4th place, Aaron Manurung with Nash, 20 points.
Wow.
3rd place, PBE Don with Akuma, 40 points. 2nd place, ViewSonic Neko XX with Brainless Cammy.
Yeah, easy.
In 7th with 70 points. But 1st place, Chuan with Guile, 150 points.
Now, I heard that Chuan is from Malaysia, which means that he's the first Malaysian to win an event like this.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, and he played really well. So, from what I heard, I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
I remember seeing some comments from people saying that he played really, really strong, and, you know...
He must have. It was good.
But, I mean, he was using Guile. There's a brain-dead character for you. No, I'm just kidding.
It is cool to see Alex and Nash up in there, though.
Yeah, for sure. So,
all right.
There you go. So that was the events that happened this weekend. So,
is he actually American?
I mean, I see a Kappa face after there, probably not.
Probably not.
So, yeah. Ultra Arcade talking about KI World Cup is going to happen as well.
Sick.
So,
wow, that's some news.
Cool. But let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we will talk some more about BBTAG and Street Fighter 30th, and also have some E3 speculation. Be right back, guys.
I'm going to eat 3.
Eat sports? We eat sports now? Or we've always been eat sports, right? Oh, man, okay. Come on.
What's going on over there?
There we go.